Ho, 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 hello. I am Frank Nicotero. Welcome to Punchlines live from the South Point Casino here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Frank Nicotero, lifelong sports fan, longtime comedian, lifelong sports fan. It's my own line I made up. I just butchered it. Anyway, this is going to be a great show today. We got a packed show, so much fun stuff. We're going to score more than the Raiders did in the first half of that game last night. What do you say to those Charger fans? At least the game didn't end on a missed kick like you guys usually do. It wasn't close. Chargers play a lot of tight games. And then, of course, Ryan McCormick, our producer. What was the big news this morning just before we hit the air?
Brandon Staley and the GM were finally fired.
Yeah, and that happened right down the street. Right down the street. Brandon Staley actually served me my Starbucks this morning. He has already got another job, so I was very happy. And he scored with it. It was the first time, and he was smiling for the first time. So I want to thank him. And he put it in a holiday cup for me. I said, I really wanted a holiday cup, and he gave me a holiday cup. So Brandon Staley's working for tips here at the South Point. There he is. He's waiting at the Starbucks right there. They didn't let him on the plane. He's like, hey, my family's got to eat. Walk down to the South Point. We're always hiring. I don't know if we are. Anyway, the GM, I don't know where Tom Telesco is. But also want to welcome in the lovely Alex White is here for the entire show because it's Friday. And, it was overdue, right? The firing of Brandon. I mean, in L.A., this has been a thing since last year. I have a buddy, Will, who follows the Chargers closely. This was a long time coming.
It's the lack of accountability.
Yeah.
You never want to see people lose their jobs, but
right.
In the 3 years that he's been the coach, he's never taken ownership for anything, and he's always kind of blamed his players. So you knew he was going to lose his locker room.
Oof, and it sounded like he did. And there was a quote from him last week where he's like, look, it's not like we've been blown out in any of these games. Did you see that? Yeah. He's like, well, it's not like we've been blown out. Cut to last night, 49-0, 63-21 final, which, by the way, was the 63-21.
Scorigami.
It was the scorigami. That's like the fourth or fifth this year, the scorigami, which is a score that's never happened in the NFL in the history, which is really strange because it's an even number of touchdowns, right?
Yep.
It's 9-3, basically, final score with the extra points. I was shocked to think that was a scorigami.
But, I mean, how often do teams score 9 touchdowns in a game?
This is also true. Brian brings up a very good point. Are we seeing a collage of the touchdowns here? Do we have this?
That was all the first half touchdowns.
Yeah, that was all, and I'm in a pick'em league, and I'm like, oh, God, I think I picked the Chargers. And I looked when it was like 42-0. I'm like, whew, I have the Raiders minus 3.5.
Yeah, watching the game last night, my dad gets home, and he starts so his fantasy matchup, the guy that he's playing had the Buccaneers defense. And 10 minutes before game time, he picks up the Raiders, puts them in.
Oh.
And so he's 30 points from a defense 10 minutes before game time.
Yeah, Alex, your favorite touchdown on defense was the big guy, right?
Oh, yeah. John Jenkins. I love those.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
They're even doing trick plays.
He snatched that one out of the air. He's like, give me that touchdown.
Yes.
What a shellacking. If you're wondering why we're so colorful today on set, today is National Ugly Sweater Day, ladies and gentlemen. 'Tis the season to rock ugly sweaters. Alex, you're rocking, let's see here. This is the best one ever. All I want for Christmas is the over. Are we seeing that? There it is. All I want for Christmas is the over. Ryan, also epic. Ryan's is, it's the Christmas tuxedo t-shirt. It's very lightweight too, because I touched you, which I rarely have touched you. That came off really weird. He walked by me,
what did you say?
and I said, "Oh, that's great." And I put my hand on your and I touched you. It's all muscle. He's solid as a rock, this guy. And I touched your shoulder, and I was like, and all I thought was the material's very lightweight, very breathable.
Yep.
You probably work out in that. Probably go to the gym in that.
Could, yeah.
Turn some heads. And I am wearing one Sean brought in for me as a favor here. This has got flamingos on it, and I put the flamingo one on because my mom loves flamingos. So, Mom, that's for you. But it's ugly. So listen, if you're watching and you're still at work, oh crap, it's a national, go out, run to Target, get a national ugly sweater celebrating sweater. Did that sound make sense? I'm not really sure.
Tradition for the Golden Knights.
It worked.
To throw the flamingo on the ice after what? Not just after a win. It's got to be after
a plastic flamingo.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure it's.
Yeah.
I don't want PETA. I don't want PETA writing in on this show. They do. I know. Detroit's done the squid or the octopus for years.
Yep.
They do flamingos here.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
And on a hat trick or what is it?
I know.
When do they throw it?
Pretty sure it's after wins.
After wins.
Let me see where it's.
All right. If we see anything on that, I'd be curious to see that. Yeah, it's also Friday, so that's why we have Alex here, and we're going to have a couple great guests. We have making his debut on the show in about 10 minutes, Dave Dameshek, which I'm very excited about this. He's been a writer on Jimmy Kimmel. We've traveled in similar circles. We have mutual friends. Chris Andrews, of course, who runs the sports book back here, got a hold of Dameshek and booked him. We're going to talk Steelers. We're going to talk other stuff. I haven't checked the comments to see if anyone's on there yet.
So it
Lucky
is
Man wants to know, where's Kevin? Kevin's
it is
coming
a
on. Don't
victory
worry.
flamingo.
What's that?
It is a victory flamingo. So it is after.
Have they
this.
done it this year at all? When they started 11-0, I don't remember seeing any flamingos. Did they cut away from
I'm
them?
sure someone's throwing them on.
Damn. All right, I'm going to have to look out for that. Anyway, yeah, and also I was saying Dave Dameshek, and then later on in the program, at about 12:42 to 12:45 our time, Kevin Belinkoff will be here. Kevin's been hot. He's got some picks for us, and I know our super fan Lucky Man will be waiting for Kevin. Frank is the GOAT. Did someone write? Wait, what?
Frankie is the GOAT. Bah, it's not Sean.
North Sean.
Not Sean.
Not Sean. Oh. Whoever not Sean is, thank you.
It's not Sean.
But it's not Sean. Oh, it is Sean. I'm picking up what you're laying down. Today is December 15th. Not Sean. I don't have my glasses on. That's why I didn't understand the joke. That doesn't make sense. All right. Today is December 15th, and it's also National Cupcake Day. Yeah. Are you going to have a cupcake today?
Probably not.
Not a cupcake fan? I know you did the cookie thing.
Yeah, not a big cupcake.
Here's the thing with cupcakes. I never knew, Tina Fey did this on 30 Rock, and I'd never seen it done before. She takes
cupcake
cupcake.
Sandwich?
What's that? Yeah.
The cupcake sandwich?
You pull off the top, flip it, so now all the icing's in the middle. Tina Fey was the first
Pretty
person
smart.
I ever saw do this.
Yeah.
I know, because when you go to bite a cupcake, you're going to get some on you're going to bite into it, and it's all over your face. So thank you, Tina Fey. I'm sure she's not the first person to ever do that, but it is National Cupcake Day.
Are you going to have one?
I might. Are there Sprinkles in Vegas? The Sprinkles store? Do you have Sprinkles cupcakes? They're like a really LA place.
We have like Sprinkles in grocery stores, but
No, Sprinkles is the brand. Sprinkles cupcakes. Or Crumbs.
Yeah, cupcakery.
Cupcakery? That's what Jerry's saying? I wasn't sure if he was swearing or saying another.
I've
Oh,
I've never
and
been to
saying we do
Sprinkles.
have a
Oh, and
Sprinkles.
we have a Sprinkles? Where's Sprinkles at?
I don't know.
Let's go.
We could Google. We could Google
right.
that.
I will find it. All right. Anyway, it's National Cupcake Day. Cupcake Day, a.k.a. football, SEC football team matchups week 1. Because they always schedule cupcakes. Like Alabama plays like Alcorn State. So those are cupcakes. And it's show number 48. Congratulations to everyone involved on show 48. I guess this is only my 45th show, technically, since Alex filled in for me 3 days with their dad. So 45 for me, but it's 48. And the number 48 has a lot, you could get four dozen cupcakes, would be 48. The 48th state is Arizona. Go ahead, put your graphic up there that you made, Ryan. This is great. These are 48 facts. The 48th highest grossing film of all time is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which is like the 48th best Star Wars movie. It's not good. According to Rolling Stone, on their list of top 500 albums ever made, they went with Legend by Bob Marley. Hard to argue that every one of my friends had that cassette. That's right, Ann. I said cassettes.
Yeah.
Cassettes, man. Ryan, now cassettes were these, they were tape. It was tape. And you'd put it in your car.
What's
and then,
tape?
Son of a. Anyway, that's a great album. If you've never listened to that whole album, it's awesome. And that's a lot of facts about 48. What else do we have up there? Yeah.
Herschel Walker was the 48th Heisman winner.
Herschel Walker was the 48th Heisman Trophy Award winner. Okay. There you go. And you know what else I found? The best 48 that I found was George Blanda. Now, I remember having this guy's card when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with that card because look at this guy. How old do you think he is in that picture, Alex? That guy right there.
The main picture?
Yeah, the one with the mutton chops. That's what those are called. Those sideburns, mutton chops. That's what they're called. And mutton chops?
Mutton chops.
Mutton chops. How old do you think that man? The center picture of George Blanda.
Ryan, jump in and help me out on that.
I'd probably say that's the year he retired.
Yeah, he's 48 years old in that picture.
Ooh.
How old does he look nowadays?
Well,
He looks 70 in that picture. Let's be honest. They partied hard. They played hard. They partied hard in the 70s. Okay. But George Blanda. So all of you out there that Tom Brady played a long time. Blah blah blah. George Blanda played until he was 48 years old. That's 1976, bicentennial year for America. He was 48 years old, still playing in the NFL. He debuted with your Bears in 1949. I mean, this is amazing. He played for 26 years in the NFL. He was a place kicker. I remember his card showed him as a place kicker and a quarterback, 26 seasons, scored more points than anyone in history at the time of his retirement. He played till he was 48, sports' oldest player ever. Only one of two players to play in 4 different decades, the other being John Carney. John Carney kicked forever. He was a Charger. He was a kicker. But this guy, George Blanda, was out there getting hit. During his career, he played under head coaches Bear Bryant, George Halas, and John Madden, to name a few. I mean, that's just ridiculous. 48 years old, playing in the NFL.
That was really good research on the 48.
That's some good research. Yeah, I figured,
a lot of variety there.
I was mixing it up. See, I appreciate it. That's why we have Alex here on Fridays. She makes me feel good about myself. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, I want to mix. I mean, we do the jerseys. The jerseys has become a staple. Sometimes when we don't have good jerseys, we'll shift and we'll do athletes that are 46 like we did the other day. But we do have a famous athletes to wear number 48. I have not seen this, but I am going to freak you out that you put Rick Russell in there. That's Big Daddy. Now, Dave Dameshek, who's coming up, who's a big Pirates fan, will let you know that Rick Russell also played for the Pirates.
Yep.
And when the Pirates thought he was done, he goes to the Giants and he wins like probably another 100 games with the Giants. This guy played forever. So I was at a game at Three River Stadium and Rick Russell was pitching. And the guy next to me knew a lot about Rick Russell. And it turned out it was his brother. But his brother also played in the Major Leagues, Paul Russell. And I had both their cards, Rick Russell and Paul Russell. Chris Andrews is walking in. He remembers Big Daddy Rick Russell.
Oh, yeah.
He wore number 48. So who else do you have out there? Torrey Hunter. Torrey Hunter, I don't know how many home runs Torrey Hunter stole, but Torrey Hunter probably robbed about 20 home runs that I can remember. Excellent center fielder, Gold Glover. Torrey Hunter also wore 48. Who else do we have? Oh, my God, Pablo Sandoval. That's the Panda.
The Panda.
Yeah, he won a couple rings, 2 or 3 rings with the Giants. I don't know if he was on all 3 teams. I think he was.
I think he was on 2.
And then he got that sweet deal from the Red Sox where he just robbed them. Steven Davis, running back with Carolina, and you have him pictured there with the Washington football franchise. Jacob deGrom. So Jacob deGrom, does he get a World Series ring?
Yeah.
Right? But did he pitch at all at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, he had.
Did he play a couple games for Texas? I think he did.
Yeah, I think he did.
He did. So he earned his ring. He's like, look, I played on the team. Austin Hedges got a ring, who's a guy the Pirates
6 games.
Cast off. He pitched 6 games. Did he have a record? Did he have a win?
Yeah,
Yes.
he had 2 wins.
He had 2 wins. So there you go. He contributed to the Super Bowl or the World Series win or Super Bowl. So Jacob deGrom, who I hope comes back. I mean, can you imagine Texas getting him back? They win the World Series, and it's like, oh, we might have one of the best pitchers of our generation coming back, Jacob deGrom, who won the Cy Young with like the lowest win total. But his ERA is just dominant pitcher. But
Ernie Green, Redskins, way back when. I had his jersey.
He was a number 48?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know Ernie Green. What position did he play? Was
running back.
Running back? Ernie Green?
Yeah.
I love it. Chris always...
I looked at it just to make sure.
Well, Chris always, like, when we're doing this, if you ever check your phone, Ryan, I know, like, Chris will all of a sudden chime in with, like, a random jersey number we've never heard of.
He's got to be 100 years old now, but I remember him when I was a kid.
I also saw Rick Russell hit a ball at Three Rivers to the center field where the batter's eye was. He crushed a ball. I mean, he was a big guy, Rick Russell, this guy. They called him Big Daddy. Crushed a ball to center field. And speaking of crushed balls to home plate, he's the one who gave up Bo Jackson's home run in the All-Star game. When Bo Jackson cracked that leadoff homer in Anaheim, I think, it was Rick Russell pitching. And that was one of the hardest hit balls I've ever heard. You could just hear Bo Jackson, the ball came off his bat a little different. Do you like the number 48, Alex? Any connections to the number 48?
Not necessarily.
Maybe
but
there's some over-unders we'll look at a little later.
I like it. Seems like a very common
good.
baseball number.
All right. Well, Alex is we're going to do our Parlay. We're going to do that a little later. We have Kevin Belinkoff joining us with some picks. But right now, I got to grab my headsets. Hold on. Very excited to welcome this gentleman. We've traveled in some. Oh, what's that?
I was just gonna say Kevin's in the live chat.
Kevin is in the live
He said
chat.
Ramon Martinez wore 48 for the Dodgers.
Now that's Pedro's brother, Ramon Martinez. Wow, he's pulling that out. See, Kevin's an Uber Dodger fan. We were talking about this. He's excited for the Ohtani signing, obviously, but he's also very excited about them getting Tyler Glasnow, a former Pirate. This guy was supposed to be a superstar for us, 6'8". The guy throws heat. Pirates never let him really pitch the way he should pitch. They traded him to Tampa Bay when we just got heisted by the Rays. Gave him Shane Baz and Austin Meadows, and we got Chris Archer.
Wow.
Chris Archer past his prime. That was terrible. Dave Dameshek will know what I'm talking about. Let's welcome him in. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy has like 200,000 followers. I've followed this guy for a long time, his career. He wrote at Jimmy Kimmel, and he's a Pittsburgh guy, and I think we had a same management team at one point. Anyway, Dave Dameshek is here. Yeah, I don't know. Dave Dameshek. Yeah, I'm going to apply for Dave Dameshek.
Yay, what's up, Frank Nicotero? Big fan, long-time fan. I'll tell you, here's how close are the intersection of our Venn diagram is. I don't remember the year of the All-Star game at PNC Park, but you were on the mic.
I was 2006.
And I was there.
Oh my God, yes. 2006. It was that's to this day probably one of the greatest sports highlights. I bugged Major League Baseball for like a year. I'm like, let me MC. They're like, well, I don't need tickets. I already have tickets because I was a season ticket holder, and I got to be on the field. This is where I met Mazeroski, and I saw Franco Harris in the men's urinal with just a black T-shirt on, standing at a urinal naked. His back. It's a story I don't share in the air a lot, but anyway.
Thanks. He was nude.
He was
Winnie the Pooh.
He was Winnie the Pooh. Dave Dameshek, you're reading my mind. I was just going to say So here's one of your heroes, right? I meet him in the locker room. He was playing in the celebrity softball game. Franco Harris being a football player, but he was playing, and I was getting all these Hall of Famers to sign a glove. I got Franco to sign the glove, like it was the gloves that they left for the celebrities to have, and I stole one and took a silver Sharpie. Ozzie Smith. Redland, Dave Winfield.
Wow!
Oh my God, it's well protected. Got Franco on there. There's like 5 or 6 Hall of Famers on there. So I went to the restroom and there was Franco. You see one of your heroes as a child, and you just see him Winnie the Pooh in it.
Wow,
Winnie
that's
the Pooh.
Something. That's some tale. That's good for you. Yeah. Your brush with greatness.
It was. So wait, what's our intersection? What is our? You were at that game. There you go.
There, I was down on the field that night while you were doing it, and I was glad-handing with the Cobra, Dave Parker. I was over the moon on that evening. Oh, it was the best. A couple things I want to tell you about very quickly.
Go for it. Take your time.
Before we jumped in here. One, people who look old.
Yeah.
And especially when you're young, and then you find out, like, it's the... there are a few guys who really, Wilford Brimley is the famous one. Angela Lansbury is up there. But the one that makes me the craziest is Robert Shaw in Jaws.
Yeah. Okay.
Quint is now younger when he's shooting, when Jaws eats him.
Yeah.
Shaw is younger in that picture than I am right now. That makes me feel sad.
I know. And come on, one of the best movies of all time, Jaws. And Wilford Brimley, when he was in Cocoon, is younger than I am right now, I believe. Yeah. Wilford Brimley in Cocoon, he was like in his early 50s. Yeah, it was insane. Mm-hmm. He looked old when he was doing the Quaker Oats commercials.
Rick Russell might be the most misshapen professional athlete. I mean, it's really way up there. But if you think about high end, Rick Russell was an all-star, so he counts. I think it's fascinating, our obsession with fitness and, proper conditioning to play 21st century sports. Consider the greatest 4 players in their respective sports of all time. Babe Ruth, slob, right? Babe Ruth, slob. Tom Brady, dad bod in his underpants when he was 21 years old.
The combine picture. Yeah.
I mean, Michael Jordan, I guess we could knock him for the receding hairline. He was prematurely balding and he had to shave his head. And then Wayne Gretzky looks like a 13-year-old girl. Right. So so it really confuses the brain. The other one I wanted to tell you is you left out Tyler Kennedy, Stanley Cup champion. We got to mention black and gold.
Well, that's true.
Third line mucker.
Well, you got to understand, Ryan puts together. I like to be surprised by the collages. I'll always yesterday, show 47. I said Mel Blount. Mel Blount gets it. That's all we need. Mel Blount. That's it. So he usually throws high. Today you did not have this is the first time he's not put a hockey player on there.
So I just look at a list.
Okay.
Right. There was no hockey player on the list for 30 people.
Okay.
So I just.
Now, Ryan's a Blackhawk guy. He's from Chicago, so he likes the Blackhawks.
Oh, well, tell Ryan then that I was there in 1992 for games 1 and 4. The first in the Igloo in 66, puts it away with 10 seconds left to avoid overtime and set the Igloo aflame with joy. And then a week later, they win the cup. I was in the stadium that night to watch that magical event. I
was in Arlington, Texas at the Funny Bone. And I was working with Ron White, who's the blue Ron White. So it was me and Ron White, and I said, Ron, I got to jump in a cab to go watch the end of the hockey game. And I did, and I got to see the ending of the game. Right after I said I ran, and I came back, and Ron's like, "Who won that damn hockey? You watched that damn hockey game?" And he was already 3 sheets to the wind, but he always bought booze. Ron he likes to drink still, although he's retired, he says, but. He still likes to drink. Hey, listen, Dave, we have Chris Andrews here, who I know you guys, he wanted to talk to you because he's from your neck of the woods. Chris.
No, I was out.
My main man.
What's going on, pal? So I'm out with a half-assed relative of yours last night, Terry Neely.
Heat up that mic, CA. We need to hear your words.
Oh, is he on? Is his mic on?
I got him.
Oh, we got him.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I was out with half-assed relative of yours, Terry Neely, and there's 4 Churchill guys. There's going to be 7 Churchill guys tonight, and the same question keeps coming up. What are we going to do with the Steelers? What should we do, and what is going to happen?
Well, I mean, obviously we're throwing stuff against the wall like everybody else trying to figure this thing out. That's where we have to start. The insiders reports, I don't know if you heard the news that sometimes insiders might be prone to making up their insights.
Yes.
I don't want to accuse anybody of doing that where Mike Tomlin's concerned, but if you are hearing these announcements that as my sources inside the building are saying that this is what's going to happen, that I'm 99.99% sure that is jive, because that is the Pentagon times 10.
Yeah, they don't leak. Yeah,
information getting out. They just don't, and so it is all speculation. Now,
the Pentagon.
I wouldn't be surprised if here's the part that I haven't heard a lot of noise about, where Tomlin and the Steelers' potential divorce is concerned, is that maybe Mike Tomlin's going to walk away. You know, the idea that the Steelers ain't the Steelers name, then we know playoff games, and never mind the fact that obviously this last half decade that we've been in is particular. It was the end of a Legends run, accelerated by the elbow injury, but then letting him come back, and a nice run there. I mean, this is, in pro football terms, in pro sports terms, most teams really will bottom out at that point. The Steelers, to their credit, in my estimation, really were able to fuel the jet 30,000 feet in the sky. I mean, they kept making the playoffs. They kept having winning records. Now, I know that the curmudgeons get down about this. Dude, they gotta go 0-16, 0-17 so they can get a good QB. Never mind who they might have gotten had those things happened. We don't know exactly how that would have broken, but everybody just assumes greener pastures would have presented themselves. I think that there is, like I say, so maybe they would try to trade him to Washington. That makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, because that's where he's from, right? Northern Virginia. So that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yep. I could see it going that way. I mean, I don't think we should tether ourselves too closely to that. You'll remember the Tom Brady thing, whatever that was now 3 years ago. I was certain he was moving out to L.A. And then it turned out, no, he doesn't want to be that far away from his kids, from his son. And those sorts of personal details, just because we know where he's from doesn't mean that that's what Mike Tomlin, the human being, where he wants to live for the next decade of his life. Maybe Los Angeles is what he fancies, and therefore the Chargers appeal to him. Maybe there's going to be a job available up in the Foxborough region of the New England region of our country. So I could see all those things happening. It's weird to me. I had Neil Coulong on my show.
Oh, he was on yesterday.
We had him on
yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. How about
Perfect.
that?
Well, then you know where I'm going with this. I thought it was fascinating. I think he makes a fascinating case that it would be a rarity for Tomlin to go into 2024 as a lame duck coach. It doesn't happen very much in the NFL for reasons that that benefit both sides. You wouldn't want to do that. So it's weird. That doesn't mean that the day after the season ends that they're not going to give him the extension that we're talking about here. But boy, oh boy, man, if they really do poop the bed down the stretch here, and let's keep in mind, I know we have settled the hash in our brains that we know where this football season's going. There's still a quarter left of the regular season. So let's not jump to any conclusions. And we've seen Tomlin's teams rise up here. Like Ike Taylor told me the other day, is there any coach on the planet Earth that you'd rather have in a spot like this, back to the wall, than Mike Tomlin? And the answer is obviously no. So the chance that they would rally here and reel off 3 out of 4 will feel right as rain if they get into the playoffs and all of that. And we'll forget about this bump in the road against back-to-back 2-10 teams. But if they lose 3 out of 4 here, I think the groundswell. I don't think Art 2 and the Rooney family is out there listening to the chants from grown-ups to fire people and all that. But I do think that there will be a powerful enough case that things have staled to the point that maybe we need to move on, because practically, like Neil probably told you, who's this OC, this magic OC progressive that's going to turn Kenny Pickett around, that's going to take a job underneath Mike Tomlin? That guy is if it's Ben Johnson of the Lions, for instance, let's just throw his name in there.
Yeah.
Right. He'd be like, well, I'm not coming there to be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if you want to give me the keys, then that's another conversation.
Exactly.
So,
adults chanting. Yeah, like, I mean, Rooney's not listening to adults chanting. You know, when they were chanting Mason Rudolph, it was obviously on a commercial break during the game, but I had friends in the stadium that send me clips of that. It's like, I don't think people remember what it was like last time Mason Rudolph played. I mean, look, Mason Rudolph, I watched him throw for 400 yards against Pitt in the first half. We all loved him, but he's not the answer. I mean, there's deep-seated, there's problems with the Steelers, Chris.
I was happy when they drafted Mason Rudolph. I thought he had a lot of potential.
Yeah, Ben was
but that
not,
leads to my second question to Dave. Is Pickett the answer?
Well, I really do think that you have to give him one more look.
Absolutely.
I mean, the idea, you know, people want to solve these things, fans and other way. Love the idea of like, dude, they should get him off. Get him off. He's on his rookie deal. He'll be going into year 3 next year. Like, purge him. Don't look at him. Don't give him a crack at the gig. Now, if there's someone appealing, in free agency, I just don't think there are many reasonable options out there. Kirk Cousins is probably the biggest name out there. You sure you want to saddle yourself with, say, 35 to 45 million for each of the next few years with Kirk Cousins? I don't know that he's the answer at his age necessarily. Maybe you draft somebody if somebody falls to you, like a Michael Penix is there. He's intriguing to me. But I think TBD. I think, what do you get at the end of the semester if you didn't show up enough and take all the tests? You get the incomplete. I think that's what we have to grade Pickett at this point, to be fair to the kid there. But, as I said, all through September and October, the idea that this is all the fault of Matt Canada was silliness. And now you see that it was. I mean, Kenny Pickett plainly, what other the other directions we may point fingers, the fact remains, you can see it if you watch the game that he is spooked by that by the sea of humanity,
and then he flips left, and then he spins left, and that the tape is out on that move. That's his move. He spins left,
pirouette to the left.
Pirouette to the left.
What do you like worse? Which is worse, the hard pirouette to the left to go nowhere,
right,
or the gentle fade backwards to his right? He loses all power as he just gently fades away, as though he's Jeff George trying to sling it with a mediocre
Jeff George.
arm.
We talk about Jeff George all the time. He had the $1 billion arm and 5-cent head. He had the strongest arm I ever saw. I remember seeing him throw games. A pregame, he was with the Falcons, watching him just warm up. It was like the ball. You heard the ball. Like, Jeff George's arm was so strong. So here's one thing. I don't know if you follow Merrill Hodge, but Merrill Hodge was on deep. Are you in Pittsburgh or where are you?
No, I'm in Los Angeles.
You're in LA. That's what I thought. But I love the decorations. When you got the steel curtain jerseys. Is that a Roberto Clemente bobblehead back there, or Stargell? Who is that?
That right? Oh, that's the that's Pop Stargell. Here's the flower. Here's the flower right there. You know what? Let me just show you this real fast.
Okay.
Here we go. You were just talking about having a signed glove.
Yeah.
I went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame one year, and I wore this glove, and I said, "Forget the Hall of Fame. This is the Hand of Fame." and Mean Joe Green signed it.
That's a good one.
And Joe Namath signed it.
I was born in Beaver Falls. That's one of my heroes. Steve Largent.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was born in Beaver Falls, and then Chippewa Township. Yeah, so I lived in Beaver Falls for a while. I knew Donnie Iris as a kid. That's how Pittsburgh I am. My dad.
How about that? My mother grew up on the same block as Mike Ditka and was not allowed to play with him because the Ditka boys were known when the little girls would get up on the jungle gym that they would pull down girls' underpants. And this was confirmed on Jimmy Kimmel's late night show. Yes, it was Mike Ditka.
Okay.
I encouraged Jimmy, and he did ask, "Is this a true story from your neighborhood from Michelle Zubasic?" And he said it was. He said, "Well, that sounds like me and my brother." Yeah, that sounds right.
And we were just talking about Ditka because we had Ricky Williams' jersey on the show. How Ryan didn't know that he traded the entire draft. Oh, not figuratively. No, he traded all his draft picks for Ricky Williams. Probably the weakest movie ever made. Yeah, that was the worst.
Hysterical. The funniest trade thing ever was when Mario Lemieux, when the Penguins got his draft rights and the trade offers, some teams offered their entire drafts. The funniest one was the Quebec Nordique offering all three Stasny brothers. You can have take them all. You got Peter's the best, but you can have Anton, the youngster, even Marion. You can have the enforcer Marion.
It's like trading for the Hanson brothers from Slapshot, basically, right there. That would have been the worst trade in history. So anyway, Merrill Hodge, who played running back for the Steelers, and he's on DVE, as I used to be and still am frequently. Merrill Hodge said, the Steelers' tight end blocking. Did you hear his quote? He said, looks like two turtles humping. So I believe that's part of the 12 Days of Christmas, is it not? Two turtles humping and a partridge and a pear tree. So anyway, he's kind of getting on Freiermuth. He was getting on everybody, but Hodge is brutal when it comes to the Steelers because he really breaks them down. That was his team. I mean, he played for the Bears, actually, too. He retired with the Bears, Ryan. But is he right? I mean, it's just fundamentally they're not doing the things. The lethargy out there, like George Pickens also now saying, well, I can't, Pickens coming out and saying he can't, I can't do much with 3-5 yard out patterns. And if you look at his route tree last week, there's a lot of dissension on that team. And that's what scares me, and that's what scares me in the lazy blocking and Deontay Johnson standing there with the fumble. And, we always thought that he was strong with fundamentals, Tomlin, but I don't know. He's not losing this team, but boy, they're just so sloppy. Oh my God, how about the calls, the 12 men on the field after a timeout? This is bad.
Yeah, I mean, you keep hearing those same phrases, lack of focus and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, who else are you pointing at but the head coach? And by the way, what's the common thread over the last 10 years, 15 years, really since Tomlin got there? His kryptonite is, for all of his successes and all of his greatness, and it's a bunch of hooey and applesauce when people say he was never a good coach, as it turns out. He just was benefiting from Bill Carr's players. That's a dim performative thing to say to try and win over some percentage of Steelers fans who are especially cynical right now. But yeah, I mean, what is hard to dispute is that the through line with these Tomlin kryptonite losses against bad teams is Mike Tomlin. I mean, the entire roster has turned over, obviously, in the last decade. He's the only one who's constant, and they constantly do lose to bad teams, as we just saw them do to the Cardinals and the Patriots, who are, in fact, atrocities times two. So it's bad that, and like I say, what's interesting to me is, though, because you mentioned Merrill Hodge, and I talked to Cam Hayward a year ago about this. He's the locker room leader. Obviously, I think everybody agrees with that. Remember Ryan Clark and those guys went at him, that this team is different than when we were playing 15 years ago. And the vibe is different and the Steeler way and all this talk. And now Trey Essex is doing that. And Merrill Hodge is doing that. And Ben
Roethlisberger the other day,
It's weird. I wonder how many, the Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Raiders are probably the three most prominent brands in pro football. Do the other two alumni groups constantly go at the current team like this? I think it's ultimately a good thing, but but man, that's an extra layer of stuff you have to deal with. Like, did you hear what the last legendary QB? And by the way, few alumni groups are more credible and listened to more for obvious reasons than Steelers guys because of all the success. No one cares really if Tampa Bay Buccaneers of the past are ripping into the current edition. But when the Steelers do, you're like, is that what Mean Joe thinks? Is that what Mel Blunt thinks? Is that what legends think? It hurts your feelings. Yes, it's an extra thing to have to deal with.
It does. So what kind of guy are you when it comes to sports gambling? What do you like to bet on stuff? What do you do? I know LA, California, we still can't. You might have sources that you can. I don't know. I don't want to implicate anybody, but Gillo, what do you like to do when you come to Vegas? Yeah, there's ways. What do you like to bet on when you gamble?
Well, the bones is what I like.
He rolls
but that's
the bones.
that's not what you're asking.
Yeah.
No, you're not asking me about that. I mean, the only rule I have is even if you think it makes me a child, and I'm going to say this in front of Chris Andrews, he may think I'm a weirdo. I like red, white, and blue. I like green, but black and gold overall. And so I would never wager against the Steelers.
I've never done it. I've never done it.
I just would never do it. I would never wager against any of my teams, even if it makes all the sense in the world.
I've needed against my teams, but I always say I do my job. I have a job. But once they kick off, I'm rooting for the black and gold. Period.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's who I'm rooting for. But I do have a job to do, and my daughter went to Penn State. She hates Michigan with a passion, and I always said if she knew how often I bet on Michigan against Penn State. I don't know if she disowned Daddy because I still pay some bills, but and paid for her education, by the way. But she would not be happy about that. But yeah, I'm in a different position than Dave. And I just want to say something real quick about Dave. And I talked to him. I mean, it had to be 15 years ago or something like that. He was on with Adam Carolla. He was on a morning show. And my kids loved that show. And we went in and I got all this stuff, that Adam used to talk about, a pie over cake and, all that stuff. And I heard Dave would echo. And the first time I hear this Dameshek guy says, tell my kids, I have a feeling this guy's from Pittsburgh.
You can tell right.
So anyway, and I'm glad to hear his Pittsburgh accent has softened a little bit. Boy, he could go back to it.
He laughs. He
can go back to it in a second. I know that.
You can all do it. Oh,
hey, Dave, we gotta get Tomlin. Got to turn it around. It's too bad Roethlisberger left because that dude, them brownies would come at Roethlisberger. He'd be like, just shut him, like, get out of here. Didn't he win? Dude, you seen him in that play. He just took it. He won it. Touchdown, dude. Touchdown. Good luck, brownies.
It's like I'm back in Braddock all of a sudden.
That is the Pittsburgh. If you're not familiar with the Pittsburgh accent,
it is unique.
He's nailing it.
It's unique. There's only a little circle in the whole country.
I told you, I got into a cab in Vegas like 10 years ago, and the guy, I go, how far is it to this hotel? He goes, it's about 10 miles down the street. And I went, what part of Pittsburgh are you from? He's like, whoa, how'd you know that? I'm like, dude, come on. I'm like, it's
wild how easy. Yeah, you hear somebody say one thing. The most prominent Pittsburgh accent people are Dennis Miller is probably the most famous. Marino, you hear it a lot. John Kasich, the old presidential candidate is from the region. I would say those are the ones that just to meet. Well, Mr. Rogers, probably. He had the most.
Dennis Miller, the swelled L, as I told Chris, is the pickle. When you say pickle, pickle. It's
my
a
wife always
L.
used to tell me that, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. And then you described it, and I said, oh, yeah.
There was someone acting teacher, or someone I was talking with in Pittsburgh. They're like, you don't have the swelled L's. Or this was in L.A. So what are you talking about? She said, well, I deal with a lot of Pittsburgh people, and pickle. Nickel, pickle. Well, the Steelers are playing that nickel defense.
Nickel. You're so right about that. I've never heard it described that way, and that's perfect.
That's
it's a funny paradox too in language. Like some words downtown are contracted for time, like downtown,
right.
But then others are single syllables get stretched out, like Roethlisberger. Like I don't know, like what. Downtown Roethlisberger. I don't know what. Choose one or the other. We were saddled as people. We never had a chance. The three of us here. We were saddled with this dumb accent. But
all right, Dave. And Dave, listen, we really appreciate having you in the show. I just want to leave with this. I'm a diehard Pirates fan, as I know you are as well. They got Billy McKinley for trade pool money from the Yankees, former #1 pick. That's our splash. I mean, Seth Lugo, all these guys are getting 3-year, $45 million contracts. Tyler Glass now got $135 million, so that would never happen with the Pirates. They were supposed to go out and spend all this money this offseason. They got Marco Gonzalez from Atlanta via Seattle. Is there any hope for the Pirates this year? Or are they gearing up? 2025's our year now. Andy's out.
First of all, here's the rationalization that I came up with before last season started. Okay. Before O'Neal Cruz got hurt and everything else, and basically scuttled any hopes for any reason for optimism. But you got to watch Major League, and think of the Nutting family as the stripper lady owner who is going out of her way to ruin the team so that she can sell them for top dollar. That's how you have to, nobody rooted against the players in that movie. You just rooted against her, and the players were against her. Same thing. We root for the players now. So that's how you can stay locked in on baseball in the lean sports months of June and July and August. You can still watch the Pirates and rationalize it as being a decent and loyal thing to do if the team's halfway decent. And by the way, you want a ray of sunshine?
Yes.
I think these Buccos, they don't have the pitching. No. Obieto's injury and just
that hurts.
Is the worst, because I don't want to get too deep in the weeds with the Pirates starting rotation 24. But that kid, you could see, was coming on and would have slotted as a nice middle of the rotation guy. I still think they have a chance of being decent, at least at the plate. I mean, they really do now have a professional, 1 through 8, it looks to me, I feel, or 1 through 9, I guess.
Well, we got Rowdy Tellez now. I mean, come on, Rowdy Tellez.
I hear you. I know. I'm not saying 105 wins
I know exactly. But maybe a wild card.
Cruz is halfway decent. They should. Henry Davis should, slug. They've got guys now.
All right. I hear you. I hope so. I'm with you. I'll be watching 162 games, I'm sure. Ryan, did you have something?
Should be bringing back Andrew McCutchen.
McCutchen will come back. That's the fans love that.
Of course.
I love Kutch. Are you kidding? He's the man. So that'll be fun.
Dave, here's what we got to do, though, fellas. Ahead. We got to this is Chris knows this. You know this. This is the. I don't want to sound histrionic. I don't want to feed the nonsense and the chanting of fire grown-ups and being all that kind of stuff is weird to me. It's dorky. But I do have to say, this is the worst moment in Pittsburgh sports in 40 years.
It's a down.
We didn't even get to the Penguins.
Yeah. Right? I mean, December of 83 is when Bradshaw hurts his elbow, and that means we have Cliff Stout and nothing but Cliff Stout. The Penguins had yet to get Lemieux. The Bucks were the Bucks. It was Fogerino. Jackie Sherrill had moved A&M by then. Dr. Roy Chipman and company had yet to ascend in the Big East. That was a terrible time. This equals that.
Yeah.
And now we have to go. Now it's up to you, Steelers. We look to you.
I know. We look to you, Steelers.
Take off.
By the way, you threw a Foge Fazio reference in this show.
I didn't see that coming.
Foge Fazio, I'll never forget this. I told this to Chris. I'll never forget at Notre Dame, he punted on 3rd down when they were backed up. Do you remember that play?
I remember. You know what? He did. I don't remember it against Notre Dame.
I think it was Notre Dame.
He did do it.
He did.
He did it in Happy Valley against Penn State.
Maybe that was it.
And by the way, I'll leave you with that.
Yeah.
The get rid of Tomlin people out there, all that kind of people. I get it. I understand. But for what? Are you sure that this is going to be an upgrade? It's unlikely. And I refer to that move. We didn't know, you got to get rid of Foge. Move on from Foge. This is a train wreck. Little did you know that the decline was already begun at that point, and they should have just kept Foge.
Yeah.
The chasing your tail effect of things, what are you moving on? You better know where you're going.
I agree.
If you want to move on from Tomlin, for whom? It is not enough to say, well, we just got to hire one of those progressive OCs out there.
Yeah.
Which one? Do you know who you're getting? Because this is one of the greats.
Yeah.
This is a guy who and all the cynicism, losing record, who cares about that? I care about that.
Yeah,
you know why? Because that's good. That means you're usually in the playoffs. And once you get into the playoffs in the NFL in the 21st century, you have a chance.
Yeah.
We're still right there in the playoffs.
They're 6. Aren't they still the 6th seed or something?
Yeah.
I think it's 7 and 6.
Yeah.
I like them against the Colts. We need a victory. Saturday game. It's -2 and 42 right now. So I don't know. I'll be watching tomorrow. I'll be webcasting the game on PSF Sports, by the way. Dave, we're so excited to have you. I know Chris has been talking.
Dave, tell the fans where they could find you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we just put out today, as we do every Friday, our 15-minute pregame show. These pregame shows have gotten sideways. I don't know who decided that you have to do 3 hours of these saccharine origin stories.
Yes.
He may be a star now, but he was born without 3 of his limbs. What? I'm trying to figure out who's going to win this game. I don't have time to. And then it's still to come, and all that kind of stuff. And the prom outfits and the fake laughter. Who needs any of it? We do it all in 15 minutes. We give you every score there. So look for on -3 is on social media, on YouTube, on Twitter, and otherwise. -3 is our podcast, and we do the 15 minutes up there for you right now. We appreciate it if you check it out. And listen, what a thrill to meet Chris. Well, he and I have spoken, but we've never seen each other face to face. Frank, what a thrill!
Yeah, man.
To get to yap with you after all these years.
I had mutual friends and people all. So it's great to finally have you on this show, which is crazy. I'm now doing this gambling show in Vegas. Thank you so much for being on, man. Go Steelers.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Really appreciate it.
Here we go. All right, we'll be back in 2 minutes with Kevin Belinkoff and some picks for the weekend and the Farley Parlay. A lot of shows still to come.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Hey, welcome back to Punchlines. I'm Frank Nicotero, looking at live comments. Dameshek and Nicotero, I feel like I just lived the song Glory Days by Springsteen. Great conversation. Thank you, Joey B. And B-Town Dummy, did Brandon Staley stay the night at the South Point instead of flying home to L.A. last night? Yeah, that was the joke I made, Jerko. That's a friend of mine, so I can say that. Yeah, that was what I was doing. And the Mike Ditka thing, and this is how Ditka gets, oh, God, okay. I'm not reading that one. Anyway, I'm so excited. What a show. This is like one of our most packed shows. We have Kevin Belinkoff. Kevin, my friend Kevin, who has been, Kevin, the picks you've been giving out on the show, you've been on fire.
It has been a very good year.
Yeah, you've had a great year.
That could all change in one weekend, but hopefully this won't be it.
Well, you know, Alex is always excited when we have a legit person who can actually crunch numbers. And Alex, you were looking at you were talking bowl games, right? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, this weekend's going to be football.
Yeah, lots of football. So let's start with some bowl games. I want to look at the Cure Bowl here. We have Miami, Ohio, and Appalachian State. Now, I know we've lost some players with Ohio, but you think there might be some value. The line, they are getting 6.5, and the total has moved down now to 44.5. What do you like in this one?
I love Miami, Ohio. It's probably my best bowl play of the weekend. I kind of don't count bowls that begin before Christmas. That's sort of like I'm sort of old school. But if there's money to be made, we'll always take a look at it. So Miami has they've covered in their last 6 bowl games. They're 10-1 in games where they were where they're underdog now and were an underdog in their last game. And then Appalachian State's in a situation that I love to play against in bowls. They're coming off a loss. They're now favored against a team with a better record. So I'll take the points with Miami, Ohio. They only lost 2 games, and one was to Toledo, and they came back and beat them in the conference championship game. So I really like Miami, Ohio on Saturday. It's at the Cure Bowl, whatever they're curing. I don't know.
Maybe meat of sorts, or I don't know.
I don't know.
How do you
Some
feel about the
antibiotics or something?
total? I like that under because I know Miami, Ohio does have an outstanding defense. Do you agree with that?
I'm also on the under. Yeah, it's what's the number at? Because that was
We'll
the
pull
key
that up. Hold on one second.
number. Because I think it's like I don't remember, but I just here it is. Yeah, it's in the high 50s.
40. Wait.
And so if you look at one, I think it's Miami. If you look at one of the two teams, when the number is that high, they're consistently going under. So I like Miami more. I almost always like sides more than totals. But again, if there's money to be made, we'll take the total as well.
Listen, my buddy's older brother once said, I go, are you sure about this? Or you want to go against the Steelers or he wanted to go against the Steelers. He goes, I'd bet against my own grandmother if I can make money.
Hey, how good have I been with Cheat Carroll lately, huh? I hate the man, but he's making me money.
Yeah. And so who does Seattle have this weekend? They have the
49ers, and I love them again. Yeah. I mean, we keep writing that one where Seattle, if they're an underdog coming off 2 consecutive losses, they cover all the time. They've done it the last 2 weeks. I'll take them again. I'm sorry. It's not the 49ers.
Yeah.
The Eagles, right?
Philly. They play Philly. It's Monday. They're Monday Night Football. Yeah.
Eagles. Yeah.
Niners have the Cardinals this week.
Yeah. Philadelphia's minus 3.5 in Seattle. And you like Seattle on Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night home dog I usually go for anyway, but it's a perfect situation. And you can also be entertained by watching Cheat's face when the call goes against him or something like that. That's the highlight of my game when that happens.
And his gum chewing. Germany, you got
yes.
Alex.
So there's a few more bowl games we can get to, of course. How about New Mexico State, who had an outstanding year, 10 wins on the year?
State, yeah.
I do like this team a lot, and they are playing Fresno State. Do you like anything in this one?
I'd lean toward New Mexico State, a rare bowl favorite. I love to play bowl underdogs. New Mexico State's been really good, and then they just laid an egg in their last game. Fresno State's very difficult to figure out. If they show up, they can win. But Tedford, their coach, has got a health issue, so he won't be there. I'll lay the number. It's down to 3.5. I like it even more.
Yeah, 3.5 and 51. So tomorrow's the NFL, and of course my Steelers are playing. But looking at this, Minnesota, Cincinnati. Jake Browning looked like an All-Pro, and then that late game. Denver and Detroit with the over is 47.5 with I don't know. That just seemed high to me. But what do you think of these?
Up to 48.
Up to 48.
Well, you never know with the Lions. Lions could score 48. They could give up 48. Same with the Broncos, although I think they have a tough time scoring 48. But here's the number I found on that. Well, first of all, this is one of those schedule games I like where you look at the schedule and it's a situation that really plays well for Detroit. Broncos are on the road for the third straight week. That's always a solid play against in the NFL. And they're coming off a win, another solid play against. And they're coming off a shutout, another solid play against. And if they're coming off, when the Broncos are coming off a straight up road win, 3-13 against the number.
Oh.
So I'm all over Detroit here.
I like that. I can maybe buy that, buy it down to 3 or something, right? Or 2.5. Get the Lions by field goal.
Don't you always regret it when you do that? You only remember it when you don't.
It's true.
But when you do, and it's like, when you lose, it's like I just lost more.
Yeah, more juice. Yeah,
so
exactly.
I tend to just go with the number the way it is.
Keep it in
Maybe
the NFL.
7.5 down to 7.
Go ahead, Alex.
Keep it in the NFL. Any other plays you really like this weekend, Saturday or Sunday?
Well, I really haven't spent much time on the Sunday games.
Okay.
I know I like Arizona, which is hard to do. But they're getting a ton of points. They're playing the 49ers. They're not the same team that they were early in the season. And 49ers have a tough time covering these big numbers. So I like Arizona in that spot.
And we have
some others.
South Point has it minus 12 right now, 12 and 48.
Well, we should always play at the South Point, right?
Yes, we should. Yes. And by the way, this is the busiest. I know I say this all the time on the show. Right now, it takes like 10 minutes to walk across the hotel. So many cowboys. Do you have any numbers on the rodeo? Or are you breaking down rodeo numbers or anything? Or roping numbers?
I just know that you will see the largest belt buckles you have ever seen. They make like the WWF belts look small.
Yeah, I've
and
seen a
one
lot.
thing about the South Point is you get the horse smell most of the time, so that's also good.
Towards the back end there by the Equestrian Center. I was in there last night.
It's really great.
Yeah,
you guys, the South Point does a great job with everything. We did a few seasons of high stakes poker there. That's how I'm so familiar with it.
Yeah, and we hear that you might be coming in the new year. You might be paying us a visit. You and Billy, possibly.
I would love to. I'll find the time. We'll work it out. We'll make it happen.
Chris
and
Andrews.
I sit there with you and wear an ugly sweater. You can change sweaters.
I changed sweaters. Kevin noticed. I don't know if anyone else noticed. Yes, this one says "Oh snap!" It's a gingerbread man. The crew
is missing a leg.
How many do you own that would qualify?
No, hold on. These are all.
Oh, good question. Huh?
Here's the other one I could have went with. This is an ostrich?
It's an ostrich.
It's an ostrich
wearing a scarf.
Ostrich wearing a scarf, and
well, you went from flamingos to ostrich. That's your kind
birds.
You're an ornithologist.
And then hold on.
It's Mario.
Where'd he go?
Sorry, then
He tripped.
I almost brought the microphone down with me. And then there's this Mario Brothers one here. Mario Brothers Christmas.
Oh, look at that.
I have to thank the crew.
I think you got to actually try and find a sweater that's not intentionally ugly. That because now they all make them so that you wear them to the parties and stuff. But you got to find one that's just hideous, but was not meant to be that way. Oh, maybe
Very
you
good.
have. Oh, look at this.
Maybe you have.
It's a poncho.
This is Alex's poncho. Alex brought this poncho in for me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that looks nice, right?
You just wear it like this?
Well, you got to put
Not
that
What's that
on
on
your
the
shoulder.
head part?
It's supposed to be
the
Rudolph.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little reindeer head.
Rudolph looks like he got
There you
hit by
go.
a car. There we go. Okay.
There you
There.
go. That
Did he-
now you look like a unicorn or something. Yeah.
Get back up here.
All right,
All right.
back to sports.
What's that? Not back to sports? It's the fashion show. All right. So anything else? I know. Well, now I can't hear. I can't hear through the poncho. Any other games that you had an eye on for all our feds? Because
The only other one I want to talk about was the LA Bowl, UCLA Boise State.
Oh.
Pac-12, terrible in bowl games, horrible in bowl games. You have another situation where you've got a team coming off a loss against another team coming off a win. And look at UCLA. They beat SC. They're really happy. They're thrilled. They go out and they lose to Cal. And I went to Cal. So I can tell you losing to Cal, you shouldn't get out of bed the next day if that happens. But then, they were looking at maybe they'd go to the Sun Bowl. Not that El Paso's all that great. Maybe the Las Vegas Bowl. They get stuck in the LA Bowl.
Yeah.
So, they got to get in a bus and sit in the traffic to get down to the stadium. I just don't think UCLA is going to show up. Boise State, pretty good. They went into Vegas for the championship game and played really well. So, again, we'll take the points, 5.5 points. Could go up to 6, I think, because a lot of people think UCLA is going to get a home field advantage, which they seldom do.
All right, and I'm going to have Kevin stick around for this. So we're going to do our parlay. Every Friday, we like to do a parlay. The F is for Frank, the A is for Alex, the R is for Ryan. Instead of a parlay, it's a parlay. Friday parlay, and we're going to we put $10 in each. We've hit it a few times, once, twice, whatever. All right, who goes for it? Ryan, you usually kick it off. Who do you like in our parlay? We'll get Kevin's reactions here. You can just do facial, or you can do. You can chime in, Kevin. So here we go.
So Sunday, NFL. I like the Giants on the road against the Saints plus the 5.5. The Saints have hit the team total over in just 9 of the last 20, and their game totals have only gone over 6 of the last 20. And the Giants have also scored last in 10 of their last 19.
Oh,
so that back door to get the 5.5 if they're losing, or it might not even be in question.
There you go. And plus, it's Tommy DeVito. Come on, how can you not mention Tommy DeVito with all those numbers? What do you think of that? That's Ryan's entry into the parlay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a game I'm in love with. One of the numbers you gave was like 10 out of 20.
Yep.
10 out of 20.
9 out of 20.
Yeah, that's like nothing to get excited about. That's 50-50.
Yeah, Ryan.
Well,
what are you getting
45%.
excited? 40. It was 10 of 19, right?
9 of 20.
If you're looking at numbers like that, I always look for
Team total
two
over
thirds.
9 of 20.
2/3 is a minimum. With 2 and 1, I don't count. But if it's 10 and 2,
What about the 6 of 20?
I'd much rather a number that's like 10 and 3 than one that's like 8 and 0, because it has a little bit more. It's a little bit more proven. So
Okay.
Well,
all right. So you're taking the
Giants,
Giants,
but yeah.
Okay. Plus, he played football with Daniel Bellinger, the tight end for the Giants.
Darren Waller might be back this week.
Oh, Waller might be. Well, but Bellinger will still see some action. He'll still see snaps. But okay.
Have you seen the Brady Bunch yet, Brian?
Nope. Nope.
And have you heard of the Partridge Family since then?
No.
Damn it.
Heard of a
Alex,
partridge in a pear tree.
Partridge in a Pear Tree Christmas. There you go. All right, Alex, what do you got?
Okay, so I was kind of going back and forth. I'm going to stick with NFL since you guys are both doing NFL. Game tomorrow, I am taking over 40.5 for the Minnesota Vikings and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Vikings, they need another spark. That's why they are putting Nick Mullins in. He did good against the Raiders. He made it past the midfield point to win that game, get them into field goal position. The Vikings are 10-3 to the under this year, but don't let that scare you because their total median on the year was 44. So this is at a very low total for them. And the Bengals, 7-6 to the over. Not that impressive, I know, Kevin. But still, they have looked very good with Jake Browning. And I don't think they're going to stop that streak here.
Okay.
So I think we're going to get a lot of points from these two. And we know the Bengals defense has not been all that great.
This is
year.
the time of the season where the totals often shift because the lines makers catch up with them. I mean, you saw it. Everybody was on the under last night. We saw what happened there. I don't think it's going to be that crazy, but I would tend to agree with the over in that spot.
All right, and I don't know if this is like a.
It's all up to you, Frank.
I know. I don't know if this is a chicken way out, but well, I was gonna take Kevin's Boise State because I was gonna ride the hot hand with Kevin, and I'm gonna take Boise State. I could take Miami of Ohio, but I like Boise State because UCLA. Yeah, I like the idea of them. How are they going to get up for a bowl game across town, right? Boise State's coming in.
And coming off a loss to Cal, and there's just a lot of things add up to for a play against on UCLA. And Boise State's pretty good, too.
Yeah, and UCLA, is it Terry Donahoe? Is he still the coach there? Terry wasn't he the coach 40 years ago?
Chip Kelly?
No, it's Chip Kelly.
You
I know.
go Carl Durrell and Rick Neuheisel.
Rick Neuheisel. Look, UCLA, that's my second favorite. I followed Pitt and UCLA college athletics. That's all I ever followed.
So sorry.
You shouldn't have said that. Now I'm going to be like, you never bet against Pitt. Why would you bet against your second favorite? Okay. It's okay.
Because I'm learning what Kevin said. If there's money to be made.
Okay.
So I'm going against UCLA, who I never go for. We had a lot of comments. And by the way, your man, Lucky Man, he said, ask Kevin about playing blackjack. I know Kevin's talked about playing blackjack with me here. Did you have a story with Lucky Guy? Playing blackjack, is there a reason?
No, I don't think he's allowed out of the state of wherever he is, North Carolina, I think. I think there's some problems with that. But no, I don't know.
Well, we appreciate him always watching. We appreciate everybody always watching. Also, there were two things in Fast Takes we didn't get to. Kevin, just real quick. 48 years ago, Tennessee beat Temple 11-6 in the lowest scoring college basketball game in history. I had the over, which was 18, because you know me, I like the over.
That's in 73. Wow.
Yeah, I know. Of course, this is before the shot clock era. Temple down 7-5 with just under 13 minutes remaining in the first half, opted to hold the ball for the final shot. Thank God they instituted the shot clock. Because I remember four corners. I remember Dean Smith with North Carolina used to do four corners.
Right.
Could you imagine going to a game 7-5 and then for 13 minutes, you just watch them hold the ball?
You've clearly not seen some girls' high school basketball game.
They can be low scoring. This is true. Yeah. Did your daughter play high school basketball?
No, my daughter she hates all athletics.
She's more theater. So. I know. You guys you take her to Broadway shows all the time. And finally, since it's from Western Pennsylvania, Joe Montana had his jersey retired on this day. What was it? How long ago was it? But there's Joe Montana. There's Eddie DeBartolo, I believe. And Joe Montana back in 1990. Yeah, look how young he is. And back in 1997, they retired the number 16. Are the Niners the favorite to win the Super Bowl?
They're getting married.
Look
at the way they're looking at each other.
Look at Joe, who I hear is not the nicest man alive when you meet him. I've heard. And Joe always has to be last when introduced among, when it's, they have all pros together, Hall of Fame. He has some stipulations, kind of like Joe DiMaggio used to do, right? So I don't know. That's a good freeze frame on him, though. Kevin, so you're going to watch football all weekend? Is that your plan, Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, and I'll get you the Sunday plays, and we'll do Monday and Sunday night and all that good stuff. And then we got bowls next week. Again, if it's before Christmas, I don't count it.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you. But we're going to have you back. We'd love to have you on during bowl season, so we'd love to get you back on during all this traffic. You're always great. You always give us a lot of picks. Alex, what's going on here this weekend? Football.
Lots of football.
Ryan,
Excited.
football?
Tomorrow is my mom's birthday.
Oh, well, there you go. And are the Bears going to get her are they going to get her a birthday present?
Well, the reason I'm a Bears fan is my dad.
Uh-oh.
So, but yeah, special. Put something special together for my mom right here.
Oh, there you go. Look, a little tribute. Oh, come on. Is that you?
That's me.
That's right. Look at the hair's the same. You have the same hairstyle. That's exactly. Look at that. Oh, look at little Ryan. Was that your first words? Would you say parlay?
I said love you.
Love you. Parlay. Parlay. Ah, happy birthday to your mom. That's very sweet of Ryan. That's very nice.
Birthday.
Thank you for bringing in all the ugly sweaters. Sean, Ann, Jerry, Ryan, Alex, I'm Frank. Chris was here. Dave Dameshek, Kevin Belinkoff. What a show to end the week. We hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy it. Sports by the Book is on
2:00.
2:00 today. Come back and watch Sports by the Book. 2 to 4, 2-hour football show. Alex, you'll be on the show?
I will not be.
You will not be here.
No,
Okay.
you got Chris Andrews
Andrews.
and Vinny.
Chris and Vinny are doing it. All right. Well,
With Jeff
And
Parles,
Jeff
of
Parles.
course.
and Jeff Parles, of course. And that way you can leave your sweater on all day.
That's right.
There you go. All right. Thank you for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. We'll see you Monday after the Steelers' victory over the Colts. I'll be in a great mood. So have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching Punchlines Lines live in Nevada every show.